abusive for the fact that I got cancer 10 years ago in 2002.
2002 you got cancer. And that must have been a difficult thing to hear.
Yes, I was diagnosed with cervical cancer in 2002. And it was the size of a lemon when I was diagnosed. But I was repeatedly misdiagnosed with all the many MRIs they took. And they said it was a regular cancer when it wasn't. So they wanted to do a hysterectomy, but I refused it, thinking I have time to try alternative therapy and natural therapy, when I actually didn't have any time. The tumor grew from the size of a lemon to the size of 2 grapefruits in 1 year. And if they had told me when I was diagnosed it's a very rare cancer, only 10% of the women with cervical cancer have it, I would have accepted the hysterectomy. If they had told me in 1 year it's going to be the size of 2 grapefruits, I would definitely have accepted the hysterectomy.
Do you think they knew that it was that kind of thing?
They didn't know. That's what I was misdiagnosed repeatedly by different oncologists and many MRIs I had in the course of that year when I tried alternative therapy. I had to send the MRI films to the best oncologist in Germany, and he immediately saw on the MRI film that the cancer was that kind, the rapid onset, the very rare kind.
Was this the first kind of experience with the medical system, or have you had other things before that?
No, that was my first experience.
Was it difficult to know what to say and who to ask?
Well, 10 years ago I didn't know anything, and didn't know any of the things I know now. So it was very difficult, yes. The very typical reaction is denial when you get a very serious diagnosis like this. And you just don't want to do anything about it. You just want to ignore it, behave like it never happened. And whatever people tell you to do, you don't want to do. So I had lots of fear for the first 3 days. And then I thought, well, I have to stop that fear because otherwise it's going to kill me. So I stopped it. I only had fear for 3 days.
How did you stop the fear?
I don't know. I just decided to stop it, and it stopped. It's pretty amazing.
Do you have friends helping you somewhere, or were you alone?
Well, I was living by myself, but I had a boyfriend at the time, and I had a support of community, of friends that really helped me. I did 2 benefits, and I raised $8,000 the first benefit, and $2,000 the second benefit. And I had lots of friends helping me, and I didn't work for that whole year. I stopped working and I just did research on how to heal myself. And somebody said I should go to Optimum Health Institute in San Diego, where they do wheatgrass juice and raw food. So I went there for 2 weeks, but it didn't help. And then somebody else said to go and see John of God in Brazil. So I went to Brazil for 2.5 months, and I saw John of God there.
And what was that like?
And John of God is a psychic healer, and he sees 2,000 people a day. He's seen millions of people, over 1 million people, the last 40 years. And he heals for free. So I was there for a long time, and in the course of the 2.5 months, I saw him 4 times a week. And he told me 4 times, I can heal you. And it's very rare when he says that, and every time he says it, people heal. So I'm alive, you know, and the people that have the most success with John of God are the people that do his thing, and the people that do the regular treatment with the regular doctors at the same time, which is what I did. But I was forced to do it because when I was in Brazil, I started bleeding profusely from the vagina and the rectum, like you open the faucet. So I went to the hospital, and they cauterized the tumor, and they wanted to start radiation in Brazil, but I said no. And I flew back here and started radiation here. But as soon as I got here, they did a colostomy. They did an operation like the next day. I got here the same day I landed. I went to the hospital. The next morning I got the operation for the colostomy. And that's a bag where I eliminate all the feces in that bag. Because I was pooping through the vagina, which is very dangerous. So they diverted the feces into this bag. And the tumor was so big, it pierced a hole between the rectum and the vagina. And I have now what is called a fistula, which is a 1.5 inch hole. Fistulas are usually a few millimeters, but mine is too big to be closed. So if they could close the fistula, I could reverse the colostomy, but medicine is not advanced enough for that right now.
So you were doing the John of God and all this other stuff for a year, and did you feel like you had access to good information? I mean, you know, about the alternatives, or you were investigating it at that time? Was there much out there?
There was, but it was difficult to know what there was without knowing about it. So I knew whatever people were telling me, but I didn't know if they were telling me everything. For example, the day I was diagnosed, my naturopathic doctor said, oh, for cancer there's only one thing, it's Miracle 2. That's all he was using in his practice, the Miracle 2 products. But he didn't tell me the cancer protocol with the Miracle 2. If he had told me the cancer protocol, I probably would be completely in remission with no tumor, no bags, nothing right now.
Why didn't he tell you?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't talked to him since. He just told me to take a bath in the Miracle 2 and to take the neutralizer liquid internally in some water, and that's all he said.
And who was this?
A naturopathic doctor called Chris Norris, who was a very good friend of Donna, I love, in Washington State. So the day I was diagnosed, I immediately called Donna, because she knows a lot about alternative therapy. And she immediately called Chris Norris, and he called me. And he said, for cancer, there's only one thing, it's Miracle 2.
So how do you feel about that sort of maybe bad advice?
Well, when I was diagnosed, I spent a year doing alternative therapy, and then I spent 2 years in and out of the hospital getting countless operations.